Welcome back, guys, to week 2 of the transporter build. She has officially been named Nelly by me.
The transporter?
No, not the transporter. She's called Nelly. And this week it is time for our first major upgrade to make her into my perfect daily campervan. So if you come with me, I think it's time to get these bad boys out.
And these are what we've gone for. So these are Discovery 5 Sport seats. So essentially they're out of an L550, if anyone's after the model code. They are heated, cooled and full electric. So a nice swanky upgrade for the transporter. Some people may notice these are very similar to what we have in Norm. Difference is that is out of a sort of full fat, the big Discovery. These are out of the baby one. So yeah, full heated and cooled. I've spent last weekend rewiring these and they are now ready to be put in the van. But before we do that, let's show you how we wired them. So you join us in my office. You have to excuse the mess, but as you can imagine, moving these all around is making a considerable amount of mess. So first job is we need to get all the old modules out. This one is missing the actual heated seat module. That usually is bolted in these two holes here. But you've got this, which is the central module for the entire seat, and then all the adorning connectors. So what we need to do is strip this out, and then we can get into all the wires, unwrap all the looms with the loom tape, and start processing which wires we actually want. Okay, so you've got 2 bolts, you've got one there, then you've got these little star thingies to pop out as well, which you can just tap through with a screwdriver, and that pops out of the seat like that. Now it does have the loom attached to it, so if you just pop the clips out, they're only on with these little push through tabs. Now if yours come with these, I think these modules are worth around 50 to 60 pounds, so get them on eBay and you can recover most of the cost of the seats. So you are now left with the bare basics of the seats. So you can see you've got motor, this is your heating element, and then down here, if you can see my hand, this silver disc here is connected to the back of it, and that is what does your cooled seats. So that has the fan inside, this has your element in, and that is how they work on this. There is the identical setup on the back of these seats, and you can see the wiring loom comes down through here, and this whole loom here with this label on is for the backrest. So that has the rear motor, heater, cooler, and the lumbar support. Now the lumbar support I'm not that interested in having working, so I'm not going to get working, but to be honest, if you're following this, you probably have the understanding to get that working on your own. So the next job is to get all this loom tape unwrapped. So I think we'll do one of those. So this is now all completely untaped. One thing I am going to do is work out the motor cables, because this seat is currently sat in its lowest position. So if I raise it up, I'll be able to get right into the back of here. Now some of you may be wondering, what's the point in completely loom wrapping all this, which if I'm honest, it's just taken me 10 minutes to try and do. The basic answer is, I want as much factory cable on these motors as possible. Yes, I could just get that cable there, snip it off, and then joint it, but then it's more joins than a cable. So I'd rather do this properly, leave as much cable on these as possible, and then, like I found on the driver's seat, just cut it back and use what you need. The thing you may be asking yourself is, how do you identify which wires are which? And there's one very simple way of doing that. A lot of these wires are very dainty. So for example, if I pull out just a couple here, I can feel that this green and white and this brown and white are much thicker gauge than this purple and this blue and green. So generally, something like this will be a motor cable or a heater cable here. So as you can see there, that is orange and white and purple and blue. So orange and white, and then where is it? Purple and blue is there. So, already identified in the loom, those two there are the cables for that motor. So what I'll do is work out what these are, find them as close to the plugs as possible, chop them, and then drop this seat base down. I've just rigged this up. I bought an Amazon power supply, which essentially is just a AC to DC. I think it's about a 6 amp. Comes with an adapter then, which you plug in. And then if I put this cable into here just to test, and then tap this cable into here, you can see that goes up. So the seat front here, you can see this actuation rod, and that's reached the edge of the motor. Now when you're doing this, because you don't have a switch on it, if you keep putting power to this, you will burn the motors out. So be mindful that as soon as that stops, whip the cable out, and then off you go. Now some of you may be asking, well, how do you put it down? And the basic answer to that is that seat switches are reverse polarity. So essentially what that means is you have a ground and 2 powers, and all it does is switch what does what. So by doing this, all you would do is get the, wherever it's gone, you would get the orange and white into the black, and then put the blue and grey into the positive, and that would then make this seat front come down. So it's as simple as that. So a simple 3-way switch, or 6-pole, 5-pole, 6-pole I think, 4-way switch would then do the same thing, which is how we've got them wired up in Norm. However, on this van, I want to have them on the factory things, and you can't do it on the L550 or whatever the 2025 Discovery full one is. So what I've done is bought Discovery 3 seat controls. So these are very dumb in the sense that they have a power supply here with this black and red, and then these operate your movements on these switches here. So let's find our next 2 cables, which are these 2. Purple into here, get our negative, and just touch that into there. You can see this actuator here is going down, which is pushing those rails towards me. Like I said, that's now finished. So just be mindful that as soon as those motors have finished actuating and they've reached their set limits, make sure that you disconnect either cable just so it stops the current going to this and stops you burning out the motor. So now that we've got this completely accessible, we can get to a bit more of this tape and pull all of this out of loom tape, which will then mean that I can start cutting all of this rat's nest of cables out of this seat. What I'm going to do, and don't be afraid to do this because you need none of these factory plugs, I've got a lot of this loom tape off, but I need to try and get to this. Now to work on that, it's all tucked here. So what I'm going to do is literally just take some snips and just cut all these plugs off so that you can just simply move any of the wires where you want them to be, because currently they're all bound to each other and it all works in a bit of a tree trunk sort of triangle that it's got going on. So we're just going to pull all these off, go for it like that. So as you can see, we're starting to look a bit tidier already. This is now what's left attached, the main loom that goes into the backrest down here. So yeah, we're starting to get there. We've got this motor isolated, this motor isolated. We'll start working on this one next, which will come out of this loom here. There's a bit of a branch that goes in down the back there. So we'll get that cut open and then we'll have this motor isolated. And then we just need to undo some more of this loom tape from around here in there, which that will then let us basically get to the backrest and all the heated mod stuff, because the 12 wires on these seats are the heating cables. Now, if you just wanted to use switches, which is perfectly fine, that's what we've done in Norm, just 6-pole switches, I'll put a picture up on screen. You could now put those, wire up all these motors individually on probably a relay is best and fused obviously, without any issues, and bolt the seats in. That is done. at that point. Now obviously I want to go a step further and I want to use these Discovery controls, because eventually I'm going to take these apart. As you can see here, you just unscrew said circuit board and this all pulls out. Now I've designed in CAD, I'll lay it over on screen, I've designed in CAD some hopeful adapters that will adapt these to this side of the seat here. Now if I manage to do this, I will sell them. Basically, I'll do them very cheaply. It didn't take me long, but I've got a chap that's very kindly, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, he's very kindly helping me print some. There's actually, the first iteration is in the post. He lives in Ireland, so it might take a bit longer, but the first iteration is in the post. So all being well, eventually, if you can get yourself a set of these, I managed to get both the drivers and the passengers for £30 for Discovery 3 controls. Now as you can see, they're fairly simple. You've got your power leads, which are here, then leads out to a pink and brown, and this is the same for the driver's side. Now that does the rear backrest, nice and separated, and then you have 4 wires here. Now on the driver's seat you have 6 wires because you have the additional function. Obviously on this you've got up and down only on the rear of the seat base, which will take the whole seat base up. So here doesn't push up, whereas on the other driver's side controller you've got arrows like this here. So that's the difference there. But if I quickly attach this all up, I can show you that we basically have the crux of the seats wired up. It's just the heaters basically. That is it. So in total, I think I've been looking at this for probably 25 to 30 minutes and most of the wiring is done. After 2 minutes of faffing about, we now have the back tilts up like that. We then have the back tilts back, I guess, back tilts forward, sorry. Then you got rear, where you got the seat up, and then you got the seat down, as you can see by this actuator moving here, and then you got forward and backwards. So potentially for people who aren't that bothered, this could now go in, if you wanted to, under the seat. And again, you have a factory controller that controls everything. Obviously if you were just going to do that, I'd probably just stick to keeping, where is it? So what a lot of people do, if I can see the module, wherever it's gone, there you go. So what some people do is they will keep this. Now this is the pack that was here under the seat like that, and they'll cut in a bunch of switches all the way along the front of this. Now you pop this module off, all that comes off with is 2 star bits there. This then comes out, and then what a lot of people do is they'll just put the things in there. Now I know some of you may be thinking, well, the motors have got 4 cables coming out of them like this here, and quite simply you don't need these 2 cables. I mean, I've just demoed you the seats and these 2 aren't even connected. So all you have to do is just literally take a pair of snips and cut these off. They are used in the factory module as limit controllers, so they will cut the motor out when it reaches the max, but obviously just don't sit with your finger on the button. Simple as that really. So yeah, none of these extra wires you need. So like each motor has 2 extras. You don't need any of them, you just need the thick gauge cables off the motors. I will do a full wiring diagram and everything down in the description. So looking at the wiring diagram, trying to get the blower motor to work in the back of the seat, you need blower speed, which is white and blue, and then you need ground, which goes up to purple and white. So again, I'll put this wiring diagram on the Google Drive link that I'll put in the description below. Purple and white is connected up here. If I take the red and the white and blue, and that is called seats. So out of this massive plethora of cables the only thing you actually need that comes out the back of these seats are these for the motor cables here, which are green and white and brown. And then you need the stranded cable, which is for the heaters, and then the purple and white and blue and white, which does your blower motor. So all of this here can all be cut out of the seat, essentially, and then that is how you end up with a completely stripped down version of exactly what you need for this. So again, it's not that difficult to do, it just takes time and patience, but yeah, we're getting there, slowly. All of these can now be cut out to simplify the seat. So that is essentially all it takes to get these wired up. It is a very simple process. So let's head back to the workshop and let's get them mounted in the van. Obviously, we have a double front seat there that we're going to be replacing.
So, you can buy single passenger seat bases online, but the hack that we're doing is, this is the driver's seat base, and basically what you need to do is cut this handbrake mechanism off, and then it should fit perfectly on the passenger side. Save you a few bob, and hopefully it works.
Yeah, so passenger ones of these are around £100 to £150 depending on where you get them from. That was £50. So half off.
So if it works, hopefully this will be a nice little saver.
I'm hoping this works.
So for the bench seat, it lifts up like this, and then to take these out we've got 4 bolts in the middle and then 3 bolts on this side. So let's get them out.
The boss woman's doing this as well.
I can't do that, it's Jess. I'm taking Jess's trademark here.
I don't think she'll mind.
Today is International Women's Day, so I best roll my sleeves up and crack on with it. The tools you're going to need as well, if you're wondering, is an ugga gun, a 17mm socket and an extension bar.
Yeah. This might be dangerous, kids. Look at the tongue. The concentration. Is that going up or tightening up or loosening?
Left.
Lefty loosey. So, in here you can see you've got all the cables, which I don't entirely know what they're all for. There's the same block under the other one, but it holds on with 2 star bolts on this side. So if we pop those off, that should be free. That'll then drop off this seat, and hopefully the whole seat base can come out. It's the seat belt self-contained in the wall, so you don't have to worry about that. So yeah, 2 star bolts, take this off, and then this whole seat should come out.
Should being the most important word in that sentence.
Yummy. That is just scrumdiddlyumptious. That's not even English, is that one?
2,
4,
4, 6,
7,
7, 8,
57p,
and
or 58p.
50 cent.
Oh, so what's that like? 28p, 30p?
What's a good 50 cent song?
Into club.
Anyway,
We should probably clean that up.
back to business. Let's give this a clean and then look at what's next.
In the absence of power at the workshop, because it seems to keep going off at the minute, just going to have to scrub it really. Most of it wasn't coming off with the vacuum cleaner anyway. So,
What is that?
brake cleaner.
Nice. Smell lovely.
Well, it doesn't fit at the minute because the handbrake bracket is on there. But if you look there, those two bolt holes do line up. So I think we'll probably have to unbolt those two, because otherwise you're going to stand straight on them. If I cut this mechanism off the side of here, we should then be able to bolt the seat base in.
Can I nominate you to do the cutting?
No, you said you wanted to do everything. International Women's Day.
Yeah, but I don't like the angle grinder.
Don't like work either. So it's actually looking like a lot of these are spot welds. So there's some awkward ones right in here, but I can unbolt this mechanism here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spot welds. Hopefully you should be able to peel this off. There is a slight weld here, but we'll soon get through that with an angle grinder.
Much later.
Tried to save a few quid, and to be honest, that was just a ball ache of a job. As you can see, it's kind of mangled. However, we will be covering these in probably ply and carpet like we did in the big van, so I don't really care. So let's now see if it fits. Boom.
Yay!
Single seat base. So now that that's in, obviously that's nice knowledge to have that a single seat base from the driver's side fits. Obviously you've got to mangle it a bit to get that off, but I think we might have to cut these off to make it fit the new seats. If I can reuse them, then ideal, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. But we need to make some modifications to the seat first, because that has the same sort of male fitting on it, so one's got to give. So we need to take some measurements, and then I'll come back to you with a plan. So we've got pins on here and we've got pins on the seat. So I think what we're going to do is cut them off both, and then we have a completely flat mating surface on both sides. Mating surface?
Is that a technical term?
Yes.
I've never heard that one.
You said you were keeping it clean.
It is clean.
But yes, we're going to cut those off, and then we'll start with a completely clean mating surface. So yeah, I'll do that, and then I'll cut it off the seat, and then I'll bring the two together. We can see it.
When two become one.
Next job I need to do is cut these pins off, which then make this seat base sit flat on top of the other one.
Steady on.
Right. So that's it lined up on the seat base. Looks about right, doesn't that?
It looks very upright.
It is. However, it sits even lower than the factory seat on the front, which is good.
Yay!
The only issue I'll say with electric seats is when you're trying to set them up, if they're not connected to the electric, it's a nightmare.
Pain in the bum.
You can't just move them around. So I need to get probably some electric to them, which is actually easier than I thought it was, because I've got my little power supply that I made them to test with. So I can actually do that a lot easier than when I did norm. It's like I've learnt. It's like I learnt things from the previous seats.
You really learned something, wow.
So that's all the way back. Which if I can... That's my seating position now, isn't it? You haven't moved that?
No.
Okay, so that's as far back as the factory seats go. So if I then make it look a bit more normal. See? It goes even lower.
Ooh. Whoa.
Me slightly fall off the bag. There you go. So it doesn't
concerning at all. Oh no, because it'll be bolted.
Yeah. Yes. That looks way more normal in there now.
Yeah, that does.
I was a little bit worried when I put it in. I didn't realise I had it in the up position. But that looks more like a normal seat.
Yeah.
Which is exciting, but it cantilevers off the back quite a way, actually.
Yeah, it does. Which is good.
Yeah.
For those of you that might be wondering why we haven't fitted the swivel now, if we plan to do it, the answer is it's purely just funds.
Yeah, they're £100.
We're sort of going month by month, finding stuff, hopefully bargains where we can. Like the mattress in the back we picked up the other day was, what, £30 for a Super King?
£30 for a Super King mattress, which has 5-inch foam, and it's brand new. They just didn't like it.
Facebook Marketplace is our best friend when we're doing van builds, and sometimes we just hold out and buy it as and when. So we will fit the swivel at some point, but not this month.
No, we have been tight, as you can tell by my seat base, which now looks like it's been ravaged. You'll have to excuse the light being in shot. However, we now have bolt, and the rear ones are in place utilising one of the factory bolt holes. So the seat is now ready to bolt in. So I think what we're going to do is pull it out, bolt the seat base in place, because currently it's all loose, as you can see, and then we'll get the wiring sorted for this one and then passed under the floor ready so that we can do that one, because that one should be much quicker because we don't have to faff about you modifying a seat base.
Yes.
So yeah, but in on the factory, one factory hole and the 3 new ones, they're going to be a nightmare to get the bolts and the nuts in behind, but how cool does that look?
They do look good.
They fit really well in here. You've got the headrests. How cool is that? If you're ever in doubt, we've got a real awkward bolt to get in, because these are not easy. Magnet, and then just slide it the way you want it to be. If you just push that up in there, you can probably see the bolt. Probably not that easily actually. I can't even see it. There, you can see me moving the bolt inside.
Yeah.
So, yeah, awkward. Get us a magnet and then feed the bolt in gently, like that, and the bolt is caught. There you go. Just got to tighten it down now, which is a mission of its own. So that requires both of us, so we'll ditch you. But basically, it's just spanners, but because of the angle, you need 2 people to do it. Okay, so it's still connected off this, but all bolts are now in. So we have front going forward, we have going back, we have lifting it up like this, we have lifting down, and we have back motor going back. Woo! You can really get that gangster lean. Hang on. Yep, that's about how most Volkswagen drivers drive. That is every transporter owner ever. Armrest, arm on the armrest like this, and your little Hawaiian thingy.
I can assure you I will not be that relaxed if you're driving. I'll be bolt upright. So that's a wrap for day 1 fitting the seats in the van. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning.
Hello! Day 2. Right. You've already seen that one, so we're going to make this one snappy, because obviously there's not the seat base to modify, and all the electrics are now across. The other seat's already modified in the back, as you saw, so let's get the seat out.
feet, this is a shakedown. Order up that beat just like it's takeout. Show me you got soul inside those new shoes, and you can rock and roll with an attitude. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. You're the new MC, you got the remix. Keep it on repeat, just let the beat kick. Everywhere you go, you bring the roof down. Everybody knows you got your own sound. So good, so fresh, just the way you like it. Just the way you like it. So good, so fresh. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, yeah, you like it, the way you like it now. Yeah, you like it, the way you like it. Oh, so good, so fresh. Get up on your feet.
There we go, it's connected off the power supply at the minute. But look at this, even caters for your mum's seating position. Look at that, perfect. Well, that is all the way up and all the way forward, so some real short ass could drive that, and it goes further back than the factory seats, and up and down. So you actually get more adjustment in every single direction, which is cool. And this one works off the panel in the side of the seat, which is also cool. First seat is bolted in at the front. I go up into the ceiling. But that's proper cool. Now, one thing I will say is if you put it all the way back, like I'm going at the minute, my foot is depressed on the clutch. I can't actually push the clutch all the way. And I usually have seats as far back as they can go. So, yeah. I'm quite happy with this. And this one obviously works off the panel in the side of the seat, which is very cool. But it feels quite straight to the steering wheel, which is quite nice. Maybe slightly offset, but I think the seats in these are anyway. So, yeah. Overall, so much more comfortable than the old ones. And they look cool. Very cool. But I feel like this one's definitely higher than that one. Oh, the front goes down even further. Ooh. Oh no, I like a bit of leg support. That's a bit nice, is that? Oh. And I'm just gonna go for a nap. Bye.
Be honest about how simple those seats were to fit on the bases, because you spent a lot of time in there today with a lot of swearing going on.
So on that side, I avoided the old... Well, you saw me cut off the lugs that are on these seat bases. For this one, to keep it dead centred with the steering wheel like the old seat was, which I regret doing now because the old seat's off-centre anyway. I had tried to drill one of those. I think I went through about 9 drill bits and snapped the end off a Christmas tree bit. So
it required a bit of perseverance. Maybe not for everybody to do. It wasn't. I wouldn't describe it as easy.
It'd probably be easy if you had some decent drill bits. I do not, especially now. I'm looking forward to this. I mean, I still need to put you a seatbelt on.
Yeah, that might help. I currently don't have a seatbelt down.
No, you can utilise the factory hole. I'm just hoping the original seat bolts fit. I think they're fairly universal, but yeah. Well happy. 160 quid.
160 quid. 3 lives risk collecting them. Potentially, you know.
Quarter of a tank in fuel.
A lot of swearing, hammering, grinding.
Oh, why?
Angle grinding.
Oh. Story of my life. I've now connected up the battery here just to make sure everything works. I'm going to do a fuse board in the engine bay at some point, so they are temporary. But if we go around this side, we've got our temporary control panel, which we've just pressed the button. Whee! She is moving. And then, if I go around the other side, play the hold music, Over on this side, we've then got seat wide in here, which if I do that, you can do. So the seats are now completely connected up, and they actually move much faster now that they're connecting up to a proper power supply. But yeah, look at that, full power adjusting seats.
Yay!
In Transporter. She loves it.
Give me strength.
I just packed up and went home, and when I got home, there's a reel of cable. So I've come back and I'm gonna get the heated and cooled functions completely working, and the seats are done. It's very simple, I've done all the work already, so I just need to run the wires up through the dash, which is gonna be a faff, but as far as the seats, just need to literally give them power on a switch and we're good to go. For the minute, it's gonna be wired up to straight to the battery, so yes, if I forget to turn them off, we will flatten the battery. However, I don't have any relays because they haven't turned up in time. So once the relays arrive, I'll eventually put it on the relay. But for the minute, they're gonna be wired straight to the battery. Just make sure they work, and they've got LEDs on the dash. So if we forget to turn them off, then we're stupid. But yeah, I'm gonna set you guys up on a time lapse and crack on with the wiring. You can see essentially what I've done is you've got heating element, cold, sounds like you can hear the fans, so that's working, and then we've got the same over here for the driver's side. We've got the loom cable tied up going down through the dashboard, which comes out behind there and then runs down the side of the seat under there. Under seat still needs tidying up, I still need to do the drivers. I'm going to quickly get all that wired in because I've run the cables. I just need to bring them under the seat and then connect everything together. And again, now we have cooled. And you can hear a slight pitch change. So yeah, heated cool seats, fully electric, all in. That concludes this video. It's been a long one, I understand that, but I wanted to make it a bit more of a guide. A breakdown in cost, roughly, 160 for the seats, 50 for the base, and then I got both the control panels for £30. So yeah, not too bad. I mean, what's that, 210, £240? If the modules sell that came out the bottom of the seats, you're probably looking more at about £120 to convert to completely electric, full leather, heated, cooled. So I'll show you the dash. We've got the cooled for the passenger, which you can hear, and then tap that on and your heated elements on. And then the same over here. Tap the fan on, tap the heated element on. Looks really smart in the dash. I am very happy with how that's come out. Ignore this. That's a whole story of its own, but I'm waiting for a new bezel. Yeah, really happy with the seats. They need a bit of a clean and a scrub down and probably moisturising. But yeah, very happy. Really comfortable, and the adjustment on them is brilliant. I will say you get more adjustment with these than the standard seats. So you can go further forward, further back, further up, and further down. So if you're a tall boy or a short boy, or gal, I mean, to be fair, the Transport has already really good seating position. But if you struggle in any way, then these seats are absolutely brilliant because they give you even more room than before. And with the cooled feature, I used them on the way back from the workshop this evening. And obviously I was warm because I've been rushing around. By the time I got home, I was cool, and when I got out, even though I'd been sat in the seats, the leather was completely cold. So I absolutely love the cooled seats. One thing I might do is on the bottom, there's ducts on the seat, which are for the heated and cooled, and they're open at one end. Now, I'm wondering if they're meant to be attached to heater ducts from the car on a Discovery. Which, if that's the case, if I can find a diagram or a photo, I might make some little blocks to go in the end, because then all the air will direct up into the seat. The flip side of this is you get a really nice cold breeze on the back of your calves as you're driving along, which again, if it's warm, is absolutely brilliant. So yeah, we'll wait and play it by ear with that one. I hope you've enjoyed this. I know it's been a long one, but I wanted to make it really informational. Join us next week when we have something very exciting. I'm picking up steel tomorrow night, is all I'll say. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.